So today's federal holiday, it's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it?
It really is a master class in contradiction, as you put it earlier.
Right. You might be off work enjoying the day, but then you look around and, well, parts of the economy are just humming along like normal.
Exactly. We hear about all these closures, federal holiday and all that, but the actual picture, what's really open or closed today, this second Monday in October, it's very selective.
It creates so much confusion for people. Is it a real day off? Or just, a Monday with extra steps?
That's what we want to clear up. Our goal here is to take your sources, sift through them, and give you a really practical guide. What's open, what's shut, and maybe touch on why we have this weird split.
Yeah, why the exceptions? So we're diving into the nuts and bolts of this pretty contentious day.
And we kind of have to start with that contention, don't we? Because it really sets the stage for why this doesn't feel like other federal holidays.
Good point. It's definitely what the sources call a lightning rod.
It is. You've got the historical angle, Columbus Day, celebrating the Italian explorer's arrival in 1492. Its roots go way back, centuries even, and it's hugely important for Italian-American heritage.
And it only became an official federal holiday back in, what, 1971?
That's right, 1971. But then, more recently, reflecting this big shift in historical understanding in the U.S.
We now have Indigenous Peoples Day, widely recognized, honoring the native peoples who were here long before Columbus.
And that duality, that tension, you see it reflected right at the top, politically speaking. Your sources point this out clearly.
Yeah, you have President Biden issuing proclamations for Indigenous Peoples Day.
But then, you look back at former President Trump, and he was actively pushing the other way. His proclamations called Columbus, and this is a direct quote, the original American hero.
Wow. So you've got this intense political and cultural clash baked right into one single federal holiday.
Exactly. And that naturally spills over into, well, confusion about who's doing what today.
Because usually, federal holiday means things shut down, right? But here, the map gets messy, like Swiss cheese, as you said.
That's the key thing. A federal mandate doesn't just automatically switch off the entire private sector, especially not when things move as fast as they do today.
Okay, let's unpack that. And maybe start with the biggest paradox, the place you'd almost expect to be closed, but isn't always. Wall Street, financial markets.
Yeah, this is maybe the most complex piece.
So if you're checking your stocks, looking at your portfolio today, what's the verdict, open or closed?
Okay, for stocks, the answer is a clear, resounding yes. They are open.
Really, business as usual?
Business as usual. The sources confirm it. The New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, they're running, trading equities like any other Monday.
That just feels counterintuitive for a federal holiday. Why wouldn't the biggest stock exchanges on Earth close down? Isn't there some government link?
Well, that's the fascinating part. It comes down to a split between stocks, equities, and government debt or bonds.
Ah, okay. Explain that difference.
Stock exchanges, yeah, they're heavily regulated, but fundamentally, they're private businesses. Their priority is nonstop trading, liquidity, keeping pace with global markets. So they can and do choose to ignore this particular holiday.
They prioritize the constant flow of trading. Makes sense from a business perspective, I guess.
Right. But you mentioned government debt.
Yeah, so what about the other side of finance? Bonds.
Now that's where the holiday matters.
Hmm.
The bond markets. Closed. Completely shut down.
Why the difference?
Because the bond market, especially trading U.S. government debt, is deeply intertwined with the Federal Reserve System, with Treasury operations. And those federal entities absolutely observe federal holidays. No wiggle room there.
Got it. So finance is split down the middle. Stocks are open. Think private commerce, global continuity. Bonds are closed. Think tied directly to federal government operations.
Precisely. It really highlights which parts of the financial world follow the government calendar and which follow the rhythm of global capital.
Okay, let's bring this back to everyday life. What about banks? If I need to, deposit a check or talk to a teller today?
Generally, you're out of luck there. Most banks are closed.
So expect locked doors.
Pretty much. Now, obviously, check your specific local branch. Sometimes there are exceptions, but the rule is closed.
But we live in the digital age.
Exactly. The workaround is huge. ATMs, they're working fine. Need cash, make a deposit, go for it. Your banking app, still good for transfers, checking balances, all that digital stuff.
So cash access isn't really the issue, it's the in-person services.
Right. You can manage your money, just maybe not face-to-face today.
Okay, so money sorted digitally. What about moving actual stuff? Deliveries, mail. If I drop a letter in that blue USPS box today, When's it going anywhere?
The U.S. Postal Service. That's the federal arm, right?
Yeah.
So following the pattern, closed.
No mail delivery today.
Nope, no mail delivery on Monday. The USPS observes the federal holiday fully, just like the bond market. They're tied to that federal schedule.
That's the classic federal shutdown we sort of expect. But let's be real. So much delivery now is private. FedEx, UPS, do they just take the day off too?
And here's where that private versus federal line gets drawn again. The big private carriers, they're operating, but with caveats.
Okay, what kind of caveats? Let's take FedEx first.
FedEx, according to the sources, is running with modified service. What that means exactly can vary, but basically they're moving packages, just maybe not hitting all their usual guaranteed delivery times.
So, operational but maybe slower.
Could be. Or maybe certain premium services aren't available. Modified service is the term they use.
And UPS, the other big one.
UPS is a bit more specific. They say pickup and delivery services are available. Sounds good, right?
Yeah, sounds like business as usual.
But read the fine print. They also state that certain deliveries will need an extra business day in transit.
Ah, there's the catch. So if you were expecting something, say, next day air via UPS today.
You should probably adjust your expectations to Tuesday. Don't count on it arriving today,
No.
even if they're technically delivering.
Okay, so FedEx and UPS are working, but maybe not reliably at top speed. Why bother staying open at all if the guarantees are shaky? Is it just for big business clients?
That's likely a huge part of it, yes. Keeping the network flowing, serving major commercial customers who aren't closed today. Think about those big retailers we'll get to, or even businesses related to the open stock market.
Right, it's all connected.
And for these logistics giants, a partial operation, even a slower one, is probably better than a complete stop. A full shutdown could create massive backlogs for the rest of the week. It's about smoothing the flow.
That makes sense. It really shows the complexity behind just open or closed.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift to something many dread. Bureaucracy. Government offices, the ones we actually have to go to sometimes.
Right. Let's start at the top. Federal government.
Since it's a federally mandated holiday.
All non-essential federal government offices are closed. Period. Full stop.
Yeah.
They are taking the day off. So Social Security office, passport agency, anything like that, forget it today.
That tracks. But what about state and local stuff, like the dreaded DMV? They have more independence.
They have a lot of independence. And this is where it gets incredibly varied, state by state, sometimes even county by county.
So no single answer for, say, the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Absolutely not. This is probably the biggest check before you go warning for today. Many states don't observe this holiday, or they have partial closures. If you're thinking of popping down to the DMV,
Definitely check their website first. Or call.
please do. We've all had that sinking feeling pulling up to a government building and seeing that closed for holiday sign taped to the door. Don't let it be you today.
Solid advice. Okay, zooming back into just daily life stuff. We know the post office is closed. What about schools? Are the kids home today?
For the most part, yes. Schools overwhelmingly tend to follow the federal holiday calendar for this one.
So most school districts will be closed.
That's the general rule. But again, local control is a thing. Some states or districts might have different calendars due to specific state laws or, snow days they need to make up later.
So the advice is similar. Double check.
Always best to check with your specific local school district just to be 100% sure. Avoid that morning scramble if you assume they were closed and they're actually open, or vice versa.
Good point. And finally, maybe the question that dictates how a lot of people might spend their day off if they have one. Shopping. Can I go to the store? Need groceries? Want to browse?
Here, finally, we have a simple answer. Yes, you are definitely in luck.
Retail is open.
Retail is largely open. Commerce marches on. Most stores are operating on their normal Monday schedule. This is probably the least affected sector.
Any specific big names the sources mentioned?
They did. Major retailers like Costco, Target, Walmart, all confirmed open for business.
So the Targets and Walmarts of the world don't typically close for this one?
Nope. Unless it's a really major holiday like Christmas or sometimes Thanksgiving, big retail tends to stay open. For them, it's pretty much business as usual today.
Okay, let's pull all this together then. We've gone through finance, delivery, government, daily life. Let's synthesize the key takeaways for you, our listener. It's clearly a very mixed bag today.
It really is. I think the main themes revolve around that tension between government rules and, well, the needs of commerce.
So takeaway number one.
The financial world is dramatically split. Remember, stocks are open, bonds are closed. That government link is the key difference.
Okay. Takeaway number two.
Delivery services are also split. Federal mail, the USPS, is off. But the private guys, FedEx and UPS, they're running just maybe not at full speed. Modified service is the key word there.
Got it. And the third big takeaway.
For daily life stuff, it's mostly business as usual on the consumer end. Schools are likely closed, but you should check. But retail, shopping, wide open. If you need something, chances are the store is open.
And the underlying theme seems to be, how closely tied is the institution to the federal government versus how much does it prioritize continuous operation, basically, commerce?
That seems to be the deciding factor across the board. Is it federal, probably closed or impacted? Is it private, consumer-facing or tied to global markets? Probably open or operating in some capacity.
Now, if we think bigger picture, the sources called this day a lightning rod of controversy, right? Because of the Columbus versus Indigenous Peoples Day debate.
Exactly. That political and cultural heat is intense.
Yes. When you look at how the country actually operates today, with the stock market humming, retail buzzing, deliveries happening, it tells a different story, doesn't it?
It really does. The fact that some of the most critical parts of the economy, global finance via equities, high-volume retail, just power through the holiday, it does raise a fascinating question. What does federal holiday truly mean in modern America? What weight does it carry?
It feels like economic momentum often overrides the traditional idea of a collective pause, doesn't it?
It certainly suggests that. When you look at this selective closure schedule, this patchwork of open and closed, maybe you can ask, what services does our society really deem essential, essential enough to never stop?
And the answer today seems to lean heavily towards market liquidity and consumer access.
It seems that way. It suggests the system is built to kind of absorb this holiday without disrupting the core economic engines. The tradition of a federal day off might be secondary to keeping the wheels of commerce turning.
So maybe the real test of a modern federal holiday isn't just the history or the politics behind it.
But whether commerce allows it to happen.
A really interesting thought to chew on today, whatever you're doing. Thanks for diving deep with us on this.